On your whiteboard, please tell me what is REM stand for? Lies. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who was the first one to start studying brain, dreams, and all that stuff. There you go. All right, who is it? Lee. Freud. All right, here we go. So, I totally forgot to do this all day today. It's fine. All right, if you open up your week 8 notes, you are going to see that there is a little worksheet that I'm going to be looking at here in a second. Okay, so this is the worksheet I'm referring to, talking about your levels. Here we go. Okay, so this is in week 8 stuff. So today I'm doing all of states of consciousness. Tomorrow I'm doing learning, which is probably the hardest section of all 3 of them. Sensation and perception, no one likes it, but it's not that bad. So here is your sleeping cycles. Your sleeping cycles are going to start with you awake. Then you go to stage 1, which is going to be your theta waves. Then stage 2, which is your sleep spindles. What are sleep spindles? You can raise your hand and tell me what are sleep spindles. What are they, Brittany?
It's like when you twitch when you fall asleep.
It's like when you're twitching when you fall asleep and you like jolt awake and you're like, oh my god, this is terrifying. That's sleep spindles. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is going to be your, stage 3 is delta and theta waves. And then finally stage 4, which is your deepest sleep. What? Oh, my cup's on my, sorry, on my screen it's perfect. Thank you. Sorry. So on stage 4, it is your deepest sleep. This is the last stage of your non-REM. Then, as you can see, it goes back up to 5. Now we call this the paradoxical sleep. Non-REM has the nickname of non-paradoxical sleep. Why is it called the paradoxical sleep? Why, Michael? Why is REM called the paradoxical sleep, Michael? Why, Simone?
Because you were the most deeply asleep, but you have the same brain activity as you do when you're awake.
Absolutely. So you've gone down, 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 far, far, far away from beta. Then in delta, which is your deepest, slowest thing, all of a sudden then you jump back into your beta waves. When you're in REM, you're in beta waves, which means the brain activity that I'm using right now to speak to you and talk to you and try to have some coherent discussion about states of consciousness when I'm literally hot as hell in this room. That's all happening with beta waves right now. That's the same thing that's happening throughout the day, throughout my night. So I go down into sleep, then I come up and hit beta waves, which is just like I'm awake. Then I go back down into my sleep and come back up. Remember, we can't stay in delta or we're going to be eaten by bears. So we have to keep rising and falling. The average person goes through this cycle 7 times a night. Okay, each stage is usually about 1 to 4 minutes or 2 to 7 minutes. A light sleeper, if you're a light sleeper, you sleep 9 to 11 cycles. If you're a heavy sleeper, you sleep 3 to 4 cycles. And it's down, up, all throughout the night. All right. Any questions on that? Everyone okay? All right, to the boards. Here we go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 have the nickname of what? Stage 1, 2, 3, 4 have the nickname of what? I literally just went over this. I don't really, no. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, no. What? What are they? Dibs. Non-REM. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the nickname for REM? What's his nickname? Good. What is it? Cat. Paradoxical sleep. On your whiteboard, please tell me how many sleep cycles does the average human go through? Marissa. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the deepest sleep? What is the deepest sleep? What did I want? I've got a lot of answers here. What is the deepest sleep I wanted? Marissa?
REM or delta.
REM and delta are going to do deepest. The official deepest is stage 4. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is, how many dreams can the average person have a night? Think about it. Sophia, what is it and why?
7 because he goes to the cycle 7 times.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me what type of brain waves is it when I'm dreaming of marrying Brad Pitt. I don't even like Brad Pitt. Well, how many? What is it, Mackenzie?
Yeah.
Beta. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is it called when I'm lying on the couch and McCray's like, Sam, are you awake? I'm like, yeah, I'm awake. And then I'm like, no, I'm not. I have no idea what we're watching or what's happening. What am I describing, Simone?
Alpha waves.
Alpha waves. All right, here we go. So I'm going to be looking, the best thing you should be looking at is your focus and your study guide from that week. I'm just going to pull up the PowerPoint to make it a little clearer and make sure everyone's covering what we need to cover. So when we are talking about states of consciousness, you have to know your disorders as well as your sleep cycles and, of course, your drugs, which we'll get to towards the end of the period today. So when we talk about sleep, it happens for a couple of reasons. The reasons why we have sleep is, which we'll get to here in a second. All right, so consciousness is a person's awareness of everything that's going around them. It's called states of consciousness because right now you're fully aware that I'm talking to you right now, I hope. Yes? Okay. Waking consciousness is having these thoughts and feelings. When you're sleeping, you're in your subconscious, correct? You're not in your conscious, you're in your subconscious. If you take drugs and stuff, you're in an altered state. Now, when we talk about our sleeping system, our drugs, and all that stuff, you have to talk about circadian rhythm, which is how your body responds after 24 hours, hormones and all that stuff. Each of us have like a normal bedtime our body wants us to have, correct? Has a normal sleeping time that our body wants us to have. Okay, we get hungry at a specific time every day. We become exhausted at a specific time. That's all of your decided by your circadian rhythm. When you feel jet lag, it's because you've messed up your circadian rhythm. Hypothalamus is in charge of most of the stuff that we're dealing with in states of consciousness, especially sleep. So keep that in mind. Micro sleeps is when you're just kind of like fall asleep, but you're not like asleep. You know what I mean? Like you're not like in bed or anything. You're just kind of like, I think I just fell asleep. And that's a micro sleep. Sleep deprivation is when you're not allowing your body to get into REM because of small windows of sleep. All right, necessity, there's 2 ways. The adaptive theory, which is the one that believes that sleep is on cause. The reason why we go in and out of our cycles is to prevent being attacked by bears in the middle of the night. And then you have restorative theory, that we go in and out of cycles because in each stage our brain chemicals are adjusted by different. All right. And let's do our disorders. Here we go. So first one is somnambulism. This is your sleepwalking. It's going to be on that AP exam. I'm like 90% sure because it's always on that damn exam. In some ways, you'll have to write about it, talk about it. In some way, they love that crap. Somnambulism is sleepwalking, okay? Night terrors. No, night terrors are universal, and that's always some weird fact that they like that you talk about. Night terrors are universal. That means that every single child on the face of the planet, whether you're in Tokyo, whether you're in Washington, or whether you're living with the Aborigines in Australia, are going to experience night terrors. What is a night terror? Who can raise your hand and tell me what a night terror is? Dibs.
It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night and start screaming, but when you go back to sleep, you don't remember it. Like when you wake up after.
Okay, yeah, you could remember that you did wake up, but what can't you remember about it? What it was. You have no idea what, there is no storyline. When you're talking about a night terror, there is no storyline. You're not scared that Miss Bennett is going to come knocking on your door after the AP exam and tell you you failed your exam and she's going to beat you up, all this stuff, put it on Instagram, and everyone's going to know that you got beat up by Bennett. You know, that would be a nightmare. A night terror is like you wake up and you're just like, oh my God, I'm horrified. I have no idea why. Every single child has them. You grow out of them. However, you can still have them as an adult. I had one a couple months ago. It was the craziest thing.
I was on a trip with my friend and she woke up in the middle of the night screaming and I don't know if she was like conscious or not, she was screaming about like jet planes because we were flying to Israel and like me and my other friend, we did not know what to do.
Naturally.
It's like a long flight.
No, of course.
It was so scary. She was like screaming. And she just started crying and she told me, Mom, I was like, what is going on?
So night terrors, keep in mind that night terrors happen to every single person. Having them all the time throughout your whole life is the rare component of the disorder. Does that make sense? That some people literally can't go to sleep without having night terrors. Can you imagine? It'd be awful. Anyway, and then you have nightmares. Nightmares have a plot line. Now, we've all had these really messed up, weird dreams. True, not true? Okay? Those dreams are, even though they're weird, they have a storyline to some degree. Whether it's this or that, you know, whatever it is. That's what makes a nightmare, and a night terror, a night terror. All right. So, insomnia is what that means is your body does not reach REM at like all, so your body never recovers, and it eventually will cause depletion of your resources, and you'll become exhausted, and you can die because of it. Insomnia is staying up for a couple days in a row and just not ever replenishing. Okay. Sleep apnea, I showed you that video. It's kind of jarring with like it's animated, and you just hear this really loud guy snoring, right? Remember it? And then it like closes in, and then like he like, and then like he figures it out, and then he breathes again, even though he lost consciousness for a little bit. That's sleep apnea. The people who have oxygen next to their beds, they have sleep apnea for that cause. And then finally, narcolepsy. Of course, how could you forget Rusty, my narcoleptic dog? Okay, he is. He goes straight into REM. He's like running, dreaming. All right, and that's narcolepsy. All right, to the boards. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called if I am sleepwalking? What's a fancy term for it? Good. No, Milan, you're taking my exam first, darling. How many times have we talked about this? Huh? No. Why would you get to pick when my exam's first? Okay, hi, sweetie. Make up mine first. Me and you have literally had a conversation about this. And how after my exam, you can go sit with her. We've talked about this. What is it, Miranda? Marissa?
Somnambulism.
There you go. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what type of disorder is it when every single time you go to bed, you wake up shaking in fear, but you don't know why? Everyone experiences these, but if you experience it on a very frequent basis, it is a disorder. What is it, Michael? Night terrors. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the name of the theory that believes that we sleep only to recharge and nothing else? That we go through cycles in order to only focus on different chemicals. I got 1, 2. No. I have 2. By the way, I just covered this. What is it, Brittany? Restorative. On your whiteboard, please tell me, how many sleep cycles does the average person go through? Sydney? 7. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when I have I wake up screaming from a leprechaun trying to chase me with an axe? What is it, Miranda? What makes a nightmare different than a night terror on your board? What is it, Lee?
There's a storyline.
Storyline. On your whiteboard, please tell me. Oh my God, hi, my name's Sam. What is it, Malai? Narcolepsy. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is it called when I'm like, oh my God, dreaming. Can't breathe. What is it, Sydney? Sleep apnea. All right.
Wait, how do you pronounce the sleepwalking one?
Somnambulism.
Oh, somnambulism?
No. Here we go. So Freud. Keep in mind that when we talk about Freud, this is the first time we got introduced to Freud, correct? With your manifest content, Latin content. Manifest is the actual dream itself. Latin content. If you don't know this by now, I think we've covered it 3 different times throughout the course of the year. Can we agree? Okay, so hopefully you've at least figured out that part because, like, I just can't. So when we talk about him, we're talking about access to your unconscious. And there we go. So hypnosis is something that the AP exam always asks a question about. And it kills my soul that I even have to talk about it. It's a state of consciousness in which a person is susceptible to suggestion. What that means is if you go on a cruise and there's a guy who's a hypnotist, he's like, who wants to be hypnotized? And you're like, me. I want it. This is what I wanted. I've waited my whole life for this. Pick me. Pick me. He's going to pick you because you want to be hypnotized, which means you're more likely to be hypnotized. Come on, just put your phone away. Like, it's becoming pathetic looking at you back there trying to figure it out of walking at it. Just stop. Thanks. So, hypnotic susceptibility is that you are willing to be. Now, if I'm sitting in the back row with a snarl on my face saying, oh my God, look at these idiots. I can't believe they want to be hypnotized. Don't they know he's a fraud? Am I likely to be hypnotized? No. So guess what? He would never pick me because it wouldn't work on me because I am so skeptical. That is hypnotic susceptibility, and that's the biggest key part. If you want to be hypnotized, guess what? You can be hypnotized. So how much of it is actually hypnotism? That's called hypnosis as dissociation. You're choosing to a degree if you want to participate or not. So when you see people out there clucking like a chicken, guess what? They want to be clucking like a chicken and then to say, oh, I was under hypnotism. Anyway. Social cognitive theory of hypnosis believes that hypnosis is not an altered state, but playing a role of them. And that's exactly what we were describing right there. Does that make sense? Hello? Okay, so that's hypnotism, and that's all I can spend my time doing on that one. All right, so psychoactive drugs. First of all, when we talk about drugs, you have to understand that there is tolerance and withdrawal, and they're two separate things. Tolerance is the more you use it, the more you become accustomed to it. On your 21st birthday, you're going to have your first beer, and you're going to get drunk, and that's it. Hopefully by your 22nd birthday, you can have 2 beers and live life a little bit longer out and about. That is tolerance. As you drink, the more it takes more in order to feel the effects. Withdrawal is if you drink way too much and you stop drinking, your body depends on the alcohol to have in your body, and you begin having the shakes and stuff like that. Alcoholism is where you see a lot of that withdrawal. Obviously, of course, with your hardcore drugs, anytime anyone's in withdrawals, it's pretty violent because it's a physiological. Psychological dependence is when you expect it. Like, for instance, if I was going to go out and meet up with a bunch of people out and about and I don't know a lot of them, I can't do it without wine. I'm funnier with wine. I am more charming with wine in my hand. And if you're drinking wine and I'm drinking wine, I am way better of an entertainer, and yeah. So psychological means I need it just to make myself feel better in like a confidence kind of way. Alcohol serves that purpose for a lot of people, including myself, if I'm meeting people I don't know and I don't like. So that's a psychological dependence. All right, so your first category of drugs are stimulants. These are drugs that increase the functioning of your nervous system. When we talk about stimulants, these are drugs people take in order to get like a high feeling, like yes, like that amped up, excited, like here we go. Amphetamines is going to be one. What is going to be an example of amphetamine? Meth, absolutely. Meth is a huge one. No one takes meth just to hang out at home on a Tuesday. Okay? No one's like, oh my God, let's just have a chill night at home. Let's smoke some meth. Okay? If you're going to smoke... I just remember this is being recorded. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. If you're taking meth, you are wanting to have a feeling of like euphoria. You're a high. You're looking for that like excited reach. The most famous of your stimulants is going to be, of course, cocaine. Cocaine is going to give you this like huge burst of excitement, huge burst of like high and all that stuff. Your stimulants are going to be the ones that are going to kill you first, because your body is going to be broken down much faster because it's going to be so hard. A lot of people who are on cocaine have heart attacks and die just because of the effects. Other stimulants, obviously these are not as hardcore as, meth. That would be nicotine. People smoke cigarettes in order to get that quick little high. off of it. They get that little excited kind of like, ooh, here we go. Same kind of feeling you get after you get like have a big cup of coffee. Yes? That kind of like buzz kind of there. That's like, apparently it's like 10 times more intense with nicotine, and it's like 1,000 more intense with cocaine.
Just drink like 1,000 cups of coffee.
I wouldn't actually tackle it that way. That's not how I go about it. I'm just saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Saves the coffee plants.
All right, so keep in mind, when you're talking about stimulants, guys, you're not talking about hanging inside doing, like, just hanging out with your friends at home. Stimulants are, like, going out kind of things and stuff like that. Now, depressants are going in the opposite direction. Now, the most famous of the depressants is what drug? Alcohol. Now, a lot of people get that confused when we talk about going out drugs are going to be your stimulants, while alcohol is a depressant. A lot of people like alcohol because it kind of slows you down and stops your brain from like overthinking things and stuff like that. And that's why people choose alcohol as their drug of choice, because it just kind of slows you down. Yes, people go out and drink alcohol, but at the end of the day, we've all seen drunk people and how they just stop functioning. Yes? Okay, so that would be the depressant side of it. If you don't drink that much, you're fine. Your brain starts slowing down. That's the depressant side. Obviously, if you drink way too much, all of you just stop. Like, all at once. Just, like, down. It's been a really long day. And I'm really hot. And I have tutoring after school shooting me in the face. Alright, other famous depressants are barbiturates. These are drugs that have a sedative effect. If you've ever seen Wolf of Wall Street, Quaaludes. Okay, the Quaaludes is a barbiturate that they are abusing because instead of going to sleep like the barbiturate wants you to do, they force themselves to stay awake, and that's how they get these like crazy highs. Okay, so that's a barbiturate. And then you have any of your anti-anxiety pills and all that stuff are going to slow your bodies down as well. Alcohol, of course, is your most famous of your depressants, and it is, yeah, it's alcohol. I mean, I just, like... If you, like, I don't know, like, it's like trying to explain a cigarettes. At this point, you probably have heard of them, right? So I'm done. All right, narcotics. Now, with narcotics, they are a class of opium-related drugs, so everything ends in INE mostly. Anytime this ends IN, it's typically going to be a narcotic, and it's a nice rule of thumb for you to go through. When someone takes narcotics, they don't want to feel anything. Like, they just want complete numbness. Okay, if you're taking like cocaine, which is a stimulant, not a narcotic, but if you take cocaine, you want that high, that rush, that like, yes, let's go to Miami. Let's go. I don't really know. It was kind of a joke from last period because I couldn't come up with an example. I'm the most boring person you've ever met. I don't think any of this is a surprise to you. It's fine. It's so hot, I can't even think straight.
Just go like open the refrigerator.
Yeah, go stick your like.
No. Alright, so narcotics are drugs that people don't want to feel anything, and they just want to feel like ha ha ha, like the drooling down the face, like oh my god, I'm so happy. Obviously the most famous of your narcotics is going to be what?
Heroin.
Heroin is going to be your most famous. If people are taking narcotics, they're not doing anything. Like, they're not doing this in a social setting. They just literally don't want to feel anything. No one's like, oh my god, guys, let's get together and let's, like, take heroin. Like, it's usually used as, like, a coping mechanism, like for depression or some other big issues. That's why people start doing it. And it's not a social drug because all you do is, like, lie there. We've all seen images of like opium dens and stuff like that. It's exactly what narcotics are. Like no one's like, oh my god, what a crazy party was the opium den. Everyone's just lying on a cot, like drooling on themselves. Okay? Now, when we talk about narcotics and stuff like that, these are people who are literally going to have their central nervous system is eventually going to completely collapse. Now, your next and your final category of drugs is going to be your hallucinogens. These are your psychogenic drugs. These are the ones who are going to create false sensory information. Obviously, your most famous one is what?
Marijuana.
LSD. No. I hate that it's put in this category. It's not. LSD is going to be your most famous of your psychedelics. for your hallucinogens. They are going to create false sensory information. The unique thing about hallucinogens is it stays in your system. It cannot escape. Remember, I told you how the car accident. A person got into a car accident. By the time the police responded to it, the guy was like high on LSD. Well, hasn't taken LSD. He hasn't taken LSD since college. And he was like in his mid-40s. And it just happened to hit the vertebrae that it was stuck in because it doesn't dissolve. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my god.
It's pretty cool. Could you imagine just like tripping off LSD out of nowhere?
You get hit.
Oh wait,
and
but
it's
does
just like,
it like stay there permanently?
Huh?
But when he like got in the car accident, then he would have been like tripping like forever.
I don't know. Yeah, you can trip forever.
That's crazy.
You can.
Wait.
I've heard stories from Thailand. Stuff in Thailand.
Ew, sorry, during about time. Like.
It's not Israel.
Yeah, at least it's not Israel.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Lee, I just can't. What, Alex? Sure. Yeah, we're not doing anything. It's fine. So, hallucinogens. Your most famous is your LSD. PCP is apparently pretty popular as well. It's a little bit of a mix between them, but the most famous one that's come out more recently is ecstasy. Ecstasy is going to be one of those party drugs that people like taking on the way out. When you're taking LSD, it's more of like a let's explore our minds. Taking ecstasy is going to be like a social drug, and the reason why is because they can feel the music.
Oh, like
They can see the music, and that's why people who are like playing with those stupid light things, you know, like the ravers, like the
What light thing? No, like the lights on their fingertips and they're like...
yeah, they're just like completely losing their mind because not only if you move it and you have the sensory blending because your brain can't process that information that fast, but the LSD and the false sensory information is going to make it way trippier. I literally can't breathe anymore and think. What, Deja? Are they both pills?
Yeah.
Girl, I don't know. I mean, last time I checked it out, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea, darling. I really have no idea. I have no idea. I'll check tonight. I'm just kidding.
Do some research for us.
Where's that acid? Where's that the same thing?
Wait,
Ecstasy and acid are not the same thing.
What's
Acid
Is
is LSD.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's the
Like a
sticker
little-
thing.
Yeah.
But they also
Just head down to the corner.
No.
I thought it's like one of those you know,
Now keep in mind, and I'm mostly doing this for the video recording because you know who I am. You know when I'm covering this, like I'm not suggesting you go out and try these, obviously. You know for a fact that when you take these drugs, it does change your brain chemistry. Remember, we went through great detail of explaining how if you're taking drugs like heroin, those people who, like up north, people are dying like crazy because they're taking heroin so much. It's a huge issue coming in from Canada. I know, these damn Canadians. They're moving it across the border in a really fast way. And because of that, those people aren't going to feel happiness or joy anymore. There's nothing that, like, they're just living like zombies right now. And they're having a huge issue up in Massachusetts. The homeless rate has almost gone up 25% in just a year because there's so many kids just out in the streets who, you know, they have nowhere else to go. So it's like a huge, big deal. So obviously I make light of the situation because A, it's a Wednesday and it's like 300,000 degrees and I'm hot and I'm cranky and I'm not kidding about don't taking drugs. Like, that is a big deal. I mean, obviously, I'm done. I hate every single video. To the boards, you better get this crap right. On your whiteboard, please tell me, if I am taking heroin, what type of drug am I taking? If I'm taking drugs. If I'm taking drugs, great. What is it? Sophia? Narcotics. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what is the most popular depressant? Good. What is it, Mackenzie? Alcohol. Just casually LSD. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what category does caffeine fall under? Don't you remember in like 4th grade you learned about drugs and then you learned about caffeine being a stimulant and you tried to get your parents to stop drinking coffee? Remember
no,
those days?
I know. I was like,
made
oh
them
my
stop.
god, it's a drug. Nah, it's a drug.
What is it, Brittany? Stimulant. On your whiteboard, please tell me, if I am taking ecstasy, what type of drug am I taking? What is it, Sydney? Hallucinogen. On your whiteboard, please tell me. I am like living life right now. I feel like, oh my god, I just have so much excitement inside of me, and I'm just like bursting with potential, and I'm just like, let's go to Miami and dance. What am I on? What type of drug? What type of drug? Alex.
Oh, wait.
Stimulant. On your whiteboard, please tell me if I'm like, I'm just like, everything feels so good. What type of drug am I on? What type of drug am I on, Sophia? Narcotic. On your whiteboard, please tell me if I don't want to. Meth is what? Yep. We've got like 12, 15 different answers here. I think we have every category represented. Meth is a what, Simone?
It's stimulant.
It's a stimulant. Yeah, people do meth like in groups, people.
Wait, I thought you said earlier that's what you don't.
No, it's just that
No,
it's
it's
not
heroin.
casual Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's on a casual Tuesday. Like-
Okay. I thought you were like.
Sounds like a Friday night.
It's not like cocaine. Cocaine is more like it's more of like a social thing. People get high on meth together. I guess. Yeah. I guess.
What do you do on
I
Wednesdays?
guess. All right. On your whiteboard, please tell me, what are your 4 lobes of your brain? You better remember this because you have 3 weeks until your AP exam, FYI.
3?
Yep. 3 weeks from Monday.
Good thing I know it.
Here we go. What are they? Michael.
Parietal, temporal, and occipital.
On your whiteboard, what cortex is inside your parietal?
No, that's not.
No, there's no sensory cortex.
That's intense.
No, actually, it's not cool at all. Good luck.